Hey there folks, welcome back to the channel. Today, let's talk about something not so light, the Israel-Palestine conflict. But here's the twist, we're diving into the realm of celebs who've thrown their 2 cents into the mix. Buckle up. So, we all know the Israel-Palestine thing is like a never-ending roller coaster. But guess what? Some celebs decided they're not just gonna ride it out silently. We're focusing on the celebrities who've stepped up to share their thoughts and stand for something beyond the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. From heartfelt statements to impactful actions, these stars are using their influence to shine a light on a global issue. So grab your popcorn, hit that subscribe button, and let's explore the voices of celebrities speaking out on the Israel-Palestine conflict. It's bound to be an eye-opening journey, so stay tuned. Kim Kardashian. In a surprising move, Kim Kardashian recently took to social media to express her support for Israel amidst the ongoing conflict. On October 11, Kardashian shared a lengthy statement to her Instagram account in support of Israel. A message to my Jewish friends and family. I love you. I support you. I have heard about how scared you feel during this time, and I want you to know you are not alone in this, she wrote. Brutal terrorism has taken innocent lives, and now both Israeli and Palestinian civilians are suffering and paying the greatest price there is. I have been talking about the Armenian genocide for years, and now, after months of blockade with minimal media coverage and no external support, Armenians are the victims of an ethnic cleansing themselves in Artsakh, she continued. They are in this moment also suffering from an extreme humanitarian crisis, and there are still prisoners of war being held captive or missing. However, social media users called out Kardashian for supporting Israel, despite the country supplying weapons to Azerbaijan during its attempt to retake Nagorno-Karabakh. Noah Scnapp, known for his role in a popular TV shows Stranger Things, recently shared his thoughts on the Israel-Palestine conflict in a heartfelt Instagram post. As a Jewish American, I am afraid for my brothers and sisters in Israel, who have been senselessly attacked by Hamas. I am truly heartbroken to see the brutal murders of innocent children, women and soldiers fighting to defend themselves. I, like others, want peace for both Palestinians and Israelis. Let's stop the rhetoric and choosing sides. Instead, we must recognize that we are all on the side of the fight against terrorism. Choose humanity over violence. I just reposted a beautiful picture of a young innocent girl whose life was taken by Hamas at a music festival. I was met with comments reading, "No one cares, free Palestine," and "She deserves that," and "Every Israeli terrorist deserves that, free Palestine." I am outraged by the justification and celebration of the death of a young girl's life. Have people lost their minds? Stop. This is one example of many posts, rallies, and petitions being signed attempting to justify the brutality against these innocent Israeli people. You don't have to be Jewish, you don't have to be Israeli, you just have to have empathy and common sense to know that this is wrong. I have also noticed a silence in social media like never seen before. The same people who love to jump on fashionable causes like supporting Ukraine and combating climate change have been chillingly quiet. The Jewish people are seeing your silence, and we won't forget it. 40 babies were beheaded and burned alive in front of their parents by Hamas. I hope we can agree that Hamas are a recognized terrorist organization. They don't represent the Palestinian people, and they value murdering Israelis more than protecting their own. You either stand with Israel or you stand with terrorism. It shouldn't be a difficult choice. Shame on you. Gal Gadot. In a poignant expression of concern and hope, Gal Gadot, the renowned actress and proud Israeli, recently shared her thoughts on the ongoing conflict in the region. With a heavy heart, she acknowledged the profound impact the war has on her family, friends, and fellow citizens. My country is at war. I worry for my family, my friends. I worry for my people. This is a vicious cycle that has been going on for far too long. Israel deserves to live as a free and safe nation. Our neighbors deserve the same. I pray for the victims and their families. I pray for this unimaginable hostility to end. I pray for our leaders to find a solution so we could live side by side in peace. I pray for better days. Gal emphasized the urgent need for a resolution, calling attention to the enduring cycle of violence that has plagued the area for far too long. In her statement, she passionately advocated for Israel's right to live as a free and safe nation while expressing a sincere desire for the same for their neighbors. Gal's heartfelt prayers extended to the victims and their families, urging an end to the unimaginable hostility. With a hope for peace, she called upon leaders to find a solution that would allow both sides to coexist harmoniously. In a world entrenched in conflict, Gal Gadot's words resonate as a plea for better days and a brighter future. In a heartfelt expression of sorrow and condemnation, Dwayne Jhonson, widely known as The Rock, recently shared his sentiments on the tragic events unfolding in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Struggling with a mix of emotions, he expressed his heartbreak, anger, and sickness in response to the brutal murders and kidnappings carried out by the Hamas terrorist group. Dwayne acknowledged the complexities of the conflict, emphasizing the need for deep understanding, context, and nuance. Despite recognizing the intricate nature of the situation, he stood firm in his belief that acts of terrorism are never justified. Dwayne unequivocally condemned and denounced terrorism, extending his sympathy to all innocent victims and their grieving families. In a moment of devastation, he called for compassion, resolve, and offered his prayers for the countless innocent lives affected by the escalating war. Arnold Schwarzenegger. In a resolute expression of solidarity, actor and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to voice his support for Israel in the face of brutal attacks by Hamas. He stated, "I stand with my Israeli friends in the face of these unprovoked barbaric terrorist attacks. My heart breaks when I turn on the news and see this pain and suffering." Schwarzenegger's statement reflects his strong stance against the violence perpetrated by Hamas and a heartfelt acknowledgement of the pain endured by the people of Israel. Maya Khalifa. Can someone please tell the freedom fighters in Palestine to flip their phones and film horizontal? Read Khalifa's social media post. Seeking to clarify her sentiments, Khalifa wrote in an X post on Monday, "I just want to make it clear that this statement in no way, shape, or form is inciting spread of violence. I specifically said freedom fighters because that's what the Palestinian citizens are, fighting for freedom every day." After Red Light Holland CEO Todd Shapiro criticized the film horizontal post and informed Khalifa via X that she had been fired, she responded, "I'd say supporting Palestine has lost me business opportunities, but I'm more angry at myself for not checking whether or not I was entering into business with Zionists. My bad." In a separate post, Lebanese-born Khalifa said, "I just want to make sure there's 4K footage of my people breaking down the walls of the open-air prison. They've been forced out of their homes and into so we have good options for the history books that write about how they freed themselves from apartheid. Please worry about your sad little company lacking direction and purpose before you utter my name again. I stand with all people fighting oppression. Now and always do your research before begging for my investment in your little project. I'm from Lebanon. Are you insane for expecting me to be on the side of colonialism, you freaking weirdo?" Responding to radio host and wrestler Peter Rosenberg's criticism of her post, Khalifa wrote, "I stand with all oppressed people everywhere until no one is fighting for freedom. I'm from Lebanon. I've lived through more air raids by the IDF, Israel Defense Forces, than your tiny privileged brain could ever know how to work through. You know nothing but tall tales of a land that doesn't belong to you, created by a military that has nothing to do with your peaceful God-loving religion. Don't you ever disrespect me and my experience with what geopolitical war is again, you man-child." Bella Hadid, whose father is Palestinian, posted a message of support for Palestinians on her Instagram account, which at the time of publishing had been liked by more than 1 million users. Future generations will look back in disbelief and wonder how we allowed the Palestinian suffering to continue for so long. A human tragedy unfolding right in front of our eyes, the 24-year-old's post said. Politicians stutter neutral words in fear of being reprimanded, whilst the world remains silent to avoid offending the wrong people. History has taught us to speak up. You are on the right side or you are not. It's that simple. Forgive me for my silence. I have yet to find the ideal words for this deeply intricate and horrific past 2 weeks, weeks that have turned the world's attention back towards a situation that has been taking innocent lives and affecting families for decades. I have much to say, but for today, I will keep it short. I've been sent hundreds of death threats daily, my phone number has been leaked, and my family has felt to be in danger. But I cannot be silenced any longer. Fear is not an option. The people and children of Palestine, especially in Gaza, cannot afford our silence. We are not brave, they are. My heart is bleeding with pain from the trauma I am seeing unfold, as well as the generational trauma of my Palestinian blood. Seeing the aftermath from the airstrikes in Gaza, I mourn with all the mothers who have lost children and the children who cry alone. All the lost fathers, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunties, friends that will never again walk this earth. I mourn for the Israeli families that have been dealing with the pain and aftermath of October 7th. Regardless of the history of the land, I condemn the terrorist attacks on any civilians anywhere. Harming women and children and inflicting terror does not and should not do any good for the Free Palestine movement. I believe deep in my heart that no child, no people anywhere should be taken away from their family either temporarily or indefinitely. That goes for Israeli and Palestinian people alike. It's important to understand the hardship of what it is to be Palestinian in a world that sees us as nothing more than terrorists resisting peace. It is harmful, it is shameful, and it's categorically untrue. Amidst the tumult of the Israel-Palestine conflict, supermodel Gigi Hadid took to her platform to share a heartfelt message, transcending the complexities of the situation. In a display of empathy and sorrow, she expressed her thoughts on the unjustifiable tragedy that has befallen the region, particularly highlighting the impact on innocent lives, many of them children. My thoughts are with all those affected by this unjustifiable tragedy, and every day that innocent lives are taken by this conflict, too many of which are children. I have deep empathy and heartbreak for the Palestinian struggle and life under occupation. It's a responsibility I hold daily. I also feel a responsibility to my Jewish friends to make it clear, as I have before. While I have hopes and dreams for Palestinians, none of them include the harm of a Jewish person. The terrorizing of innocent people is not in alignment with and does not do any good for the Free Palestine movement. The idea that it does has fueled a painful decades-long cycle of back-and-forth retaliation, which no innocent civilian, Palestinian or Israeli, deserves to be a casualty of, and helps perpetuate the false idea that being pro-Palestine equals anti-Semitic. If you are hurting, as I share my condolences today with my loved ones, both Palestinian and Jewish, I'm sending you my love and strength whoever and wherever you are. There are a lot of complex, personal, and valid feelings, but every human deserves basic rights, treatment, and security, no matter their nationality, religion, ethnicity, or where they were born. I know my words will never be enough or heal the deep wounds of so many, but I pray for the safety of innocent lives, always. Renowned conservative commentator Ben Shapiro recently delivered a speech titled, "Hamas is Evil, and its defenders are Jew haters," addressing the Israel-Hamas war. In a no-nonsense approach, Shapiro minced no words, declaring the goal of Hamas was and is clear: genocide against the Jews. Not just genocide against Jews in Israel, genocide against Jews everywhere. Those who support Hamas support Jew murder, full stop, he said. They do not support a two-state solution. They do not support the state of Palestine, they support Hamas. They support genocidal terrorists. Shapiro addressed the idea of anti-Semitists wishing to disrupt the Jewish state without harming Jewish people. You can't destroy a Jewish state without killing a lot of Jews, he said. The speaker went on to discuss the history of Judaism and the origin of Israel as a place for it. He described the past conflicts over control of land in Israel, Palestine, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. While there have been similar conflicts in the past, the magnitude of these recent events is notable, Shapiro said. What we've seen over the past few weeks has been condensing anti-Semitism into a historical period like nothing I've ever seen in my entire life, he said. We've seen a massacre of Jews on par with the Holocaust. Joe Rogan, this Israel thing like it scares out of me, Rogan started. Because when I see something like that happen, you know there's no clear way this resolves peacefully, like this is bad, this is real bad. What happens then, and what other countries get involved in, man, it just really puts into perspective that there's some asterisk to going on that you're not thinking about. Joe Rogan gave an example of how people like him do not live in a place of constant tension. The podcaster showed great self-awareness while pointing out how he was privileged to live in the USA and do what he does. Yet the current world affairs have instilled fear in him. "Oh, we just don't think about that world because we're not in that world," he said. "We're comedians, so we're hanging out at the comedy club. We're doing podcasts. That's our world." Elon Musk. In a rare move, Elon Musk took to social media to respond to a tweet by Ayatollah Khamenei regarding the Israel-Palestine conflict. Musk, known for his influential presence on platforms like Twitter, made a bold statement by deleting Khamenei's offensive tweet and unequivocally asserting, Khamenei's official position is clear that the eradication of Israel is the actual goal, not just supporting Palestinians. That will not happen. Musk went on to express his concern over the perpetual cycle of violence and vengeance that has plagued the region for decades, highlighting the futility of stoking the fires of hatred. In a call for reconsideration, Musk suggested that it might be time to explore alternative approaches to address the long-standing conflict. This unexpected intervention from one of the world's most influential figures adds a unique perspective to the ongoing discourse surrounding the Israel-Palestine situation. Jordan Peterson has returned to Instagram after claiming that a coordinated attack led to his account being suspended. Posting to X, the social network formerly known as Twitter, on October 10, the Canadian psychologist wrote, "I'm back up on Instagram after a coordinated attack took me down. Thank you, Instagram, for your quick response." Although the 61-year-old didn't say what the alleged attack consisted of, users seem to believe it was related to his comments about the Israel-Palestinian war. On October 7, the conservative author told Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to give him hell. However, other users were pleased to see that Peterson's account had been reinstated, with James Young calling it another small victory in the war for free speech. Peterson, who controversially called on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to visit hell on Gaza, appeared to justify Israel's actions while showing contempt for Palestinians. Rather than acknowledge the complex factors behind Gaza's suffering under blockade and Hamas rule, Morgan and Peterson pinned the blame on Palestinians. Their rhetoric implied that Palestinians had brought the suffering on themselves. It begs a whole other set of questions. If your government is a totalitarian band of armed criminal thugs, what responsibility do you bear for that as the subjected people? Asked Peterson after acknowledging half of Palestinians in Gaza are children and therefore would not have voted for Hamas. He explains that the answer to whatever tyranny Israel might be exerting over the Palestinians, it isn't for the Palestinians to exert even more tyranny on themselves, especially not in concert like a third party in Iran, who is perfectly willing to sacrifice them at any point. And there you have it, folks. A glimpse into the voices of celebrities who've chosen to step up and speak out on the Israel-Palestine conflict. In a world where opinions are diverse and discussions are often heated, these public figures have used their platforms to advocate for peace, understanding, and compassion. We hope this video has shed light on the complexities of the situation and the impact that celebrity voices can have on shaping public discourse. Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue fostering dialogue, empathy, and a collective hope for a better future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and let's strive for a world where peace prevails.